All right, everybody, we are live right now. How's it going? eCom Tom here with Jason.
What's up,
and there's a
guys?
large announcement today. I did get glasses this week. It's devastating, but I hope you all love them. So during this live video, we're going to be going over some new updates that are coming about with eBay Dropshipping in 2020. If you've been looking in your messages on eBay, you will most likely have seen them already, but if not, we're going to be going over them. They really revolve around item specifics. And before we get into that, we're going to be talking about, first off, we did drop, if you haven't already seen it, a wholesale dropshipping mini course. It's how many hours long or how long?
It's a little over an hour. It's 5 videos. You know, you're gonna get your feet wet and start to learn wholesale dropshipping as a business. I actually made that free mini course. Link is down in the description. It's only about a week and a half old, so if you guys want to go check that out, link is in the description. Also, if you want to tell people about the relaunch of our eBay dropshipping course, the manual dropshipping course.
All right, also, I'll get into that, but beforehand, please be sure to smash that like button. Let's get it out to as many people as possible, and we really do hope that you enjoy this content that we're bringing you today. So before we get into it, yes, we did redo the eBay dropshipping mini course, the manual eBay dropshipping course. We redid and added 20 new videos to the course. So there were about like 4 long videos on SKU and we turned that into 14 shorter formed videos that are actually even more in depth than beforehand on SKU. So it's 14 step by step. Like this is it. Like this is the most comprehensive guide on SKU anywhere out there. Probably even better than what SKU has on their website.
Definitely.
And after that, we added 6 other videos in, so it's 20 videos total. Some on tax. You know who our CPA is if you ever needed help with your taxes. TrackerBot non-API. And what was the other
couple
ones?
other various
about sales
things.
tax
Yeah.
exemption, done for you type service.
SKU was definitely the biggest upgrade to this. We had a lot of people asking us about, you know, can you guys update the course on SKU? It's complicated, it's confusing. Help me on board with them, and that's really what we did. So now this course is massive. It's like 92 videos. There's over 15 hours of content. There's over 20 spreadsheets, pre-filled spreadsheets. So this is the big kahuna of all of our courses.
So we're running a $200 off promotion. Link is down in the description on it until Monday. So if you have been interested, check it out. It's going to be well worth your money.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today in this update? And the first one is the item specifics update. So if you guys remember, if any of you have been following for the past, what was it, maybe like 2 months ago when that first update came out?
Yeah.
Where eBay's been talking about how you need to be updating your item specifics. Instead of just adding item specifics now all willy-nilly like, you now have to, there's required item specifics per specific categories. So the first categories, I forget what they were, I don't really remember, but they rolled it out. They said, oh, this is mandatory. Pretty much everybody forgot about it, and then one day I realized my repricing tool and SKU my stock and inventory tool, wasn't putting items back in stock, even though I could see that they were showing in stock on SKU. So I went into like a deep search and I realized that in the file exchange section, it wasn't accepting them because they didn't have the mandatory item specifics. So I made a video. It actually blew up pretty large about how you need to update your item specifics in these specific categories. So that was just one rollout, one little like small rollout like eBay loves to do, you know, like the buy box rollout that's been going on for 2 years now.
2 years going.
But so this is going to be, you know, just the other item specifics. What was it? It was electronics and home and garden.
Yeah.
So we're going to be going into that during this live a little bit. Show you this cool tool that eBay actually does show you, like it recommends to you, and it does connect to the API. It's wild, but we'll explain it all. So I'm going to move this over here. And then I'm going to go into the PowerPoint that we created. Here we are.
Also, guys, if you're watching right now, we will be doing a live Q&A after we go over this PowerPoint real quick. This will probably take about 5-10 minutes, and then we're going to address everybody's questions. This is going to be an extended Q&A session, so make sure that you guys have your questions ready for when we go ahead and get those answered. So.
All right, so even with my glasses on, I have a little bit of trouble reading it. But so this is a message that everybody should have gotten from eBay, and it says, throughout 2019, we've emphasized the importance of the item specifics and how they increase the visibility of your listings on both eBay and on external search engines. So basically, if you haven't been putting item specifics in your listings, you're doing it incorrectly, because nowadays eBay is even telling you, like, oh, if you update this one specific item, like maybe the color or the material of whatever the item is, this item specific gets 40,000 extra searches per month. You know, that's people looking for that item. That's people looking for that item and that material or that item with that color. It's really foolish to not be putting in your item specifics. And I'd go as far as to say item specifics are way more important than the actual description of the item, because that's how eBay's actually indexing your item. On the sidebar on the left-hand side, when people are searching, like, oh, I want green chair. You know, if you have green chair, then your item is more likely to show up based on their search results to begin with. So it says the more data you give us about what you're selling, the better we can match your item to what the buyer is looking for, either through query search, left-hand navigation filters, or category merchandising pages. It says, with this in mind, we are continuing with our requirements for item specifics in March 2020. We'll be introducing required item specifics in the below categories. These will apply to all new and revised listings. So one thing you'll realize is that this is going to be required, and when you're creating new listings, you'll see it. It's not going to let you finish the listing unless you fill it out. But when it's revised listings, so if you think about listing a good till canceled item, it's going to be a 30-day duration. When that item gets, either redone, say it goes out of stock, you sold out of it, or if it got revised, as in it renewed its 30 days in the good till canceled, then it's not going to go back in stock unless you fix it, so you might as well fix it ahead of time. So basically they go on to say that you need to be doing this until the deadline is March 31st, and this is the home and gardens and electronics category. It says for a full list of the required specifics, blah, 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 you don't need to click on this. But then it says right here, this is actually a link in gray right here. It says use OptiSeller Aspect Finder to find missing item specifics. So it's this pretty cool tool I've never even heard of before. You never heard of it either, right?
No.
And basically what they did was they created an agreement with OptiSeller or something where it was pretty much them saying, hey, just use your tool, the tool for free. You can have it until April 30th of 2020. You don't have to put in a credit card. You don't have to put in anything, and you're pretty much good to go. So I'm going to exit out of this.
Yeah, so a little bit about this tool that he's talking about. We're going to actually go into it right now, but what this does is OptiSeller, it brings in all of your active listings, and it kind of goes through all of your listings, and it looks for ones that don't have all of the item specifics that are required, or even some of the item specifics that you should put in but aren't required. They're optional. And what this does is it kind of helps you out in your search visibility and gets your listings out there higher. So if if you had made a listing 6 months ago and it wasn't required at the time, maybe now it is required, and OptiSeller is going to actually show you exactly line by line which items need to be updated, which ones are optional, and that's what we're going to go into now. So this is the dashboard for OptiSeller. I've never seen this before, but right at the top it says Aspect Finder for eBay mandates free until April 30th, 2020. So you guys can actually hop on there right now. You don't have to pay anything, and it's going to pretty much audit your entire account, all of your active listings, and it's going to tell you which ones need to be updated for these item specifics. So it's a really cool tool. You don't have to pay for anything, and obviously
you don't need to put in a credit card either.
So they're not even going to get you hooked on a subscription or anything like that. Obviously, the idea is that you're going to be a long-term customer, and they think
eBay pimped them out for like 3 months.
They think you're going to end up using it long-term, but you don't have to put in a credit card, so you don't have to worry about that. So you get exactly what you need for the item specifics, and then you can move on. It's a really cool tool. It does everything in bulk, and that's what we're going to go over right now.
So basically, all you need to do is put in your email address and then your eBay seller ID, and then you sign up. After that, it's going to ask you to confirm it in your email, and then you're pretty much good to go. So this was Jason's, right? This is your account?
Yep.
So basically, he never really connected anything to it. I connected it to mine, and like I said, we just found out about this recently, and I hadn't looked into OptiSeller until about 2 hours ago, because I was like, oh yeah, I saw that message like 4 days ago, but I was like, it doesn't really matter because it says March 31st there. So basically, they have all sorts of different tools here. They have single listing review, category lookup, promotion checker, and aspect finder. Single listing review, I looked at a bit. You put in your item ID, your eBay item ID. It tells you like, oh, this was the highest price, this is the lowest price. Oh, it basically tells you like, is it as optimized as possible.
Yeah.
But the aspect finder is what you would want to do. So you would click start. Then all you have to do is connect it to your eBay store. Yes, this does connect through the API, and I know.
Don't worry,
I know everybody out there is going to be worried. You can't connect anything to the API. in 2020, what we really want to start telling or showing you all is that it's not connecting anything to the API. That was pretty much just it was a blanket statement for everybody that was using the repricing tools and everything out there that is not allowed for retail arbitrage onto eBay. But there are still things you can connect to the API as long as they're not breaking eBay's API terms of service. They're not promoting retail arbitrage or drop shipping from retailers like Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot.
Yeah.
As long as it's not promoting that, then you're most likely fine doing so.
And again, eBay is endorsing this. So you guys can go into your messages on your eBay store, and you will see that message that we actually had pulled up that Tom was reading, and they are fully endorsing this program. They're trying to get people to do this so they update their item lists. So we know that there's no issues with the direct API connection.
There's definitely no problem with it. So you would click Start, connect your eBay store. It probably takes maybe, I think it was like 20-ish minutes to connect to my store and pull all my listings. And I don't have it all right here, but I did bring it up in this back here in the PowerPoint that we had. So I'll click on this slide and then we'll click Present here. And pretty much this is what it was showing. So this is one of my home and kitchen, or it was home and garden, right? Was that so? Home and garden.
Home and garden, yeah.
This was one of my categories here. I blanked out the majority of the information, but this is what it shows when it's showing you a specific category. Like, hey, you have 5 items, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that have issues. They're missing the recommended or the required, item specifics. So anything that's green says no action, so you didn't really need to add it, but obviously since I'm so great, I did add them, or my VAs actually.
It's optional.
And then anything in pink right here makes me believe that it's good to go. You know, this says missing in the capacity, but for this one I did actually have a capacity in there. So you want to add capacities and you know, this was I forget, I blanked this out as well. It was like stove top something or other. But if you can tell right here, it says missing, and when you click it, it actually gives you a drop-down box so you can pick which one you want. And I believe this will automatically update your item inside of eBay. Like I said, we just found out about it like 2 hours ago. Bundle description, if it's not a bundle, if it is a bundle. I don't know why they care so much about bundles on this one and why it's required, but you know, that was pretty much that's it. So basically you're going to go through all of your categories. You're going to see which ones are missing information. You're going to do it. Is there other ways to do this? Yes, you could go bulk look into your listings and see which ones aren't allowed or which one has required listings. If you're afraid to connect the API to your account, even though eBay is suggesting to use this said program.
This is way more streamlined. Way more streamlined. If you've ever done this, tried to do this on eBay, it's really clunky. And you know, they're telling us, go use this software. This is going to be the best way to do it. It's free, so I don't see why not. And plus, guys, you want to be changing your item specifics. You want to make sure that all of your item specifics that you can list are up there. Because as Tom said at the very beginning of this live, you know, let's say for example, people are looking up green chair, green being the color, and you didn't have that color in the item specifics, maybe only in the description or the title. Well, it just so happens that 40,000 people per month are looking for green chair or whatever, and that is potential traffic that you're missing out on if you don't update these item specifics. So it's really important that you do that. And if you don't do it, you might see your listings start to tank because, you know, other people are doing it and you're not. So
well, also that, you know, if they do go out of stock or if they do get revised, then they're not going to go back in stock unless you fix it. So you still have to fix it no matter what. And we're going to switch back to the camera and desktop mode. I forgot about this. So basically, one last thing to touch upon besides the item specifics update and all sorts of things like that, which I'm going to make a full-blown YouTube video about and learn OptiSeller or whatever it's called more in depth beforehand, is, you know, it seemed like 10 days ago-ish, you know, around the update of eBay. eBay updates every 20th of the month with your items, not your item specifics, your tracking uploaded on time and everything like that every month. And it seemed like a lot of people got flagged. It seems like when people do get flagged, they get flagged upon review on the 20th of every single month, or whenever they decide to go hard on, you know, flagging accounts. And I tried to go into why it happened or anything like that, and the only thing I can come down to conclusion with is either people are using API connected software that was repricing and promoting seller arbitrage. Like I said, not all API is bad, but you know, we've been talking for over a year now. You cannot be using these API repricing tools, API related tracking, uploading tools, or anything that's going to promote retail arbitrage, which is what we are doing.
Or you're using Amazon as a supplier still. So those are the two main things, guys, that we've been talking about over the last probably 14 months now. Is stop using Amazon as a supplier, Amazon Prime specifically. You will get your account flagged. And this screenshot right here is a screenshot you took from your account, and this is the promoted listings section that shows your analytics for promoted listings, we can see 3 million impressions, 7,400 clicks, and 218 sold. But the main point here is the trend of the graph,
right? You can see some weird things on this graph, though, which is really weird. Like, don't be worried. For the last, like, 3 months, 4 months, for some reason, the first day of the graph has always been a 0. It's just been doing that. I have no idea why. And then also, recently, there's this huge spike, and this is today, and it's even way higher, but it's not correlating to more sales. So I'm not sure what's going on.
The main point here is, though, that you don't have a very high rate with a huge drop off. So if we saw a huge drop off where it just basically has 0 impressions or 100 or 200 impressions, and you were getting a lot more than that every single day, basically a 95% decrease or more with a sustained decrease over time, then your account has probably been flagged, and it's best idea to just open up a new account, because once your account is flagged, I don't believe there's any way to get it unflagged. I've heard of people say that you can, but I don't think you can. The easy thing to do is just open up a new account. You are innocent until proven guilty with a new account on eBay, no matter what. So that's what we always tell people to do.
Yeah, so one thing that I do want to state, like, there are 2 blatantly weird things going on this graph. And I would say, like, this has happened many times in the past if you've been selling on eBay for a while. Do not think anything is really wrong until you have something that looks like it's a complete just downwards curve, like Jason was saying. If it started on the 19th is when a lot of people saw it, and the 19th to the 20th is when the first drop happened, 21st, and then people are like down here, and then it's just sustained at the bottom. If you see that, that's an issue. If you see these weird spikes and stuff, that's healthy. eBay just having no idea. Maybe their metrics tracking messed up for a day, because I would think that almost double the amount of impressions would equate to more sales, but in reality it did nothing.
It looks like a reporting fluke or a reporting error of some type. So
that's about all we had for this one. I'm going to switch back to camera only mode, and then we are going to drag it
That's
back
definitely still a healthy graph, okay, guys? So I just want to point that out. That's a healthy looking graph. A lot of you guys who are in the Facebook group, I'm sure you've seen what an unhealthy graph looks like, where it flat lines at nothing, not even a little heartbeat in the radar, so to speak, with the listing impression. But hey, guys, we got a ton of people on right now. We want to answer some of your questions. That was our presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys are watching right now, go ahead and smash that like button, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel before.
And if any of you have been flagged in the last 10-ish days, 11 days, let us know what you were doing or how you were running your account, and if it was, if you were using Amazon, if you were using API-related software, because, it seems like that's just a continued effort, or issue here, is that people just not putting in the effort to diversify, people not really caring, or just getting the wrong information out there. I feel like some people aren't teaching maybe 100% the right way about going about things, still saying Amazon's okay to use when it clearly isn't.
Or watching
and in some of the other groups, I was even seeing people talking about, like, oh, I still use Amazon. I was doing 20-something thousand in sales with it, and now, recently I'm down to only like 3 to 4 sales a day, but I'm not worried. No, you should be worried. That doesn't make any sense. That you clearly got flagged, and that's going to be the biggest issue here.
Yeah. So differential equation says, why are many people's store selling item at a loss? There's a couple of reasons why some people are selling at a loss, and it's funny that you pointed that out, because I think it's funny. There's a lot of people who can't do basic profit margin calculations, where they're doing calculations, but they're wrong. They're incorrect. They're not factoring in all of the fees that they're supposed to be doing, so they are pricing their items incorrectly. Another thing is they might be giving off the perception that they're running their store at a loss, when in fact they're just using sketchy gift cards or relying on all cash back, and you might not be considering that when you're trying to snipe them. And the third reason, there's a lot of reasons. There's a potential.
They could be getting it from another supplier that you don't know about. They could have. You'll realize when you start selling a lot on eBay or Amazon dropshipping, and you're like starting to really get into one supplier, like extremely, like diligently, or really niching down that supplier, not niching down, but really focusing on that supplier. You'll start to realize over time that there might be these little tricks of the trade for that supplier that you might not know about. What was that supplier that you had that if you left it in your cart and then they forgot about it in your cart or something?
They'll send you an abandoned cart, like an abandoned cart email. So what will happen is if you add the item to the cart and then wait 24 hours, they'll send you an automated email that says, hey, you left this in your cart. You want a $5 off coupon, one-time coupon? So once I figured that out, I would do it every single time, and it worked like a charm. So I get a free $5 every, and that's what he's talking about. Every single supplier kind of has these little quirks, weird programs that they have, rewards programs,
coupons,
and you can make use of those. And you might not be considering what your competitor is doing. They might be utilizing these things, therefore being able to price their items at a lower price. And then the third thing I wanted to say was that some people do loss leaders. And what a loss leader is, they might list an item up at a loss to begin with, and once that item starts getting sale velocity and traction, they increase the price. So in the short term, they're running it at a loss. For the long term, that it'll get higher in search. So that's what a loss leader is.
Yeah, so to add on to the whole like having a secret trick to the trade on that supplier's website, if you're going onto the supplier's website and you really want to like take on this supplier, you need to start reading like every little section of their website, because there is one supplier I found that I drop ship primarily on Amazon now, and I couldn't figure out for the life of me how these people were, you know, getting these prices on these items, and there was so many people selling tons of these items. Well, clearly from this one supplier, it was their private label brand. And you know, eventually over probably like maybe a couple days of research, three, 4 or 5 days of research, I finally figured out that there was like some special program where all of a sudden when you sign up for that program, I'm now able to compete completely. And now not only am I going from, oh, how can I compete? I would be losing so much money. Now my profit margins are like anywhere between like 20 to 50% on these items, all because of this one special program that they had. So look around, really do your research, and try to just figure it out on your own.
It always helps to look in the footer section. There's always something down there.
So we got Wags here. Wags says, what's the majority of your profit per item on your stores? So I mean, I'm not sure if you're talking profit percentage or like profit dollar wise. I've always said that anybody that's trying to set a specific dollar amount profit on their items, it makes no sense. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, like I won't accept less than $1 profit per item, which really honestly makes completely no sense, because if you are selling like a $10 item, or you know, say I don't want anything less than $2.50 per item. If you're selling a $10 item, then that's a 25% margin. But if you're selling a $50 item, then that's a 5% margin. It's a lot smaller. You really should just be going based off of percentage. So again, that also goes into what platform are you talking about. On eBay, I usually receive less just profit front end than on Amazon, but it could go either way. It depends on what suppliers you're using, how you're going about it. At eBay, I range anywhere between like 8% into like the 20s sometimes, but mainly around the 8 to like 13, 14, 15% range. And then on Amazon, it's usually in the 20s, 25, 30, but sometimes it can be as low as 3. I mean, I've sold items for 3, 4, 5%. It's nothing to worry about.
It moves.
It's dynamic on Amazon. On eBay, it's definitely a lot less dynamic here.
So William Pepping says, yo, what's up? He's from Austin,
Texas. He sent you a message on your new business page that I opened for you.
Did you?
I was like, should I respond for Jason?
I'll have to get around to that. How's it going, William? So we got Ramiro Fernandez. He's in the house. We got a guy who has a hold on his PayPal. You might want to call up PayPal about that one.
Limit PayPal.
John Arducci's made it. How's it going, John? He's one of our students. Good to see some of our students here. Andrew Clark says, hi guys, none of my items from AliExpress are being shipped. Please
that does
help.
Not sound good,
all right, I'll address this one. So we actually talked about AliExpress dropshipping onto eBay and what our opinions are on it. I think it was 2 or 3 lives ago. So after this, definitely check that out. Neither of us are really in favor of using AliExpress as a supplier, and the number one reason being is the lead times and the shipping times. They're coming all the way from China, and most likely it's going to take several weeks to get to the end customer, and you don't want your customers waiting that long. And another big reason is the fact that a lot of these products are shoddy. They're cheaply made. Cheaply made products are going to have a higher rate of return. You're going to get more negative feedback. You're just going to have a lot more problems to deal with when shipping from AliExpress. So Tom and I like to stay away from it. And in your case, it sounds like you're having some difficulties. So I would shift from using AliExpress to using more obscure US-based retail suppliers, or looking into wholesale suppliers based in the United States as well.
Another thing about that is you can also find suppliers on AliExpress that are based in the United States. I've heard of people finding success with that, but I'm not into it. I'm not dealing with that right now, so I really have no advice on it. And then on top of that, isn't AliExpress, you can like see the rank of the supplier too? Like if they're a bad supplier on AliExpress, then you would know to stay away from that.
But it's
supplier.
like anything else. There's a lot of artificial inflation of reviews. Of course, it's like anything else. So they're trying to make it seem like they could be better than they are. So in your case, I don't know if you did that type of research to make sure that they were a good supplier. A lot of times people will say do test orders, especially from AliExpress, to see what those lead times are, the quality of the product, and that type of thing. So,
but right here in the comments also, Wag says nothing is being shipped because of the coronavirus. That could possibly be the case. Honestly, I have no idea. Again, I haven't been focusing on that. I have seen people say like the coronavirus will affect your drop shipping business if you're drop shipping from AliExpress. It most likely could. I mean, I don't think they're letting people out of the country, so I doubt they're letting like.
It's that bad?
Yeah, it's pretty bad, I guess.
Wow.
There's like 7,000 people infected or something.
Wow.
It's definitely not good. That could be the reason. People drank a few too many Coronas, but
I knew you were gonna say that.
But honestly, I have no idea. It's another reason to stick to United States-based suppliers, not just because China seems to be prone to viruses, but just also because you're gonna not have to worry about it crossing seas or oceans in order to get to your customer. Yes, there is a big allure to AliExpress that you can drop ship anywhere in the world, which it does sound great. But you have to realize that, I mean, I went to Nicaragua before. They don't even have streets, like names. They don't have names on their streets. Like, I feel like the chance of some of these items being lost if you're shipping to all these different countries is just a lot higher. The chance of headache is just increased, and I don't want to be dealing with that. Like, I don't even use the global shipping program.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't even use the global shipping program anymore.
I've run out of patience for the global shipping program. I've run out of patience for a lot of that stuff. If I can make a steady income drop shipping from the U.S. suppliers inside of the U.S., not even Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, or any of those protectorates, then I'm going to do so, and I'm not going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, so Jameson Griffith, he says, hey, watching from Tennessee. Good to see you, man. He also says, smash that like button. So go ahead, guys, smash that like button. I appreciate it, man. And we also have Andrew Clark. What should we tell the customers?
That's for the AliExpress question.
Okay. Yeah, you're in a sticky situation depending on how much volume you're doing. If you have a lot of orders that are basically back ordered, if you will, at this point, I mean, you're going to have to cancel those orders because it's either that or you're going to have to tell these
people.
String
them along and take the metric.
You're going to have to string them along for a long time depending on when they lift those restrictions with out of country shipping. I don't really know what to tell you because I've never had to deal with something like that. I have imported from China before, and there was long lead times because of Chinese New Year. I guess they don't work for the entire month of December or January, but it was nothing like a coronavirus. So I don't know, man. You're gonna have to try to beat around the bush, I'm sure, with some of the customer service there.
Honestly, if you can figure out that it's because of the coronavirus, like then maybe talk with eBay about it. But maybe it's just that you didn't pick the right supplier. Again, I'm not sure, honestly. I saw that Sawar put out some videos. If you know who Sawar is, Sawar, he put out a video about the AliExpress coronavirus. I didn't watch it though. So we got The Plague here. Hey guys, love the content. Thank you. By the way, my mom says hi. Oh, we got my mom usually comes on here and says hi too. So thank you very much for the support. We got Raymond Salgado says, sup guys, have you both ever saw an auto part listing where the item specific shows a list that is full of compatible cars? It's extremely long. Is this something that you have to set up with coding? I have seen that before, mainly on Amazon. I'm not sure. I don't sell auto parts on eBay. So I'm not too positive about that. But what I would think is happening here is if it's on Amazon, first off, you can just hop on the listing. Whoever created that listing, hopefully pick the right auto part, whatever the part for that car, or the right cars for the part. Honestly, I'm not too sure about that. But if it's on an eBay listing, just let us know in the comments down below because I'm not sure. If it's on an eBay listing, you might have to actually pick it yourself. And that's why platforms like eBay are trying to follow Amazon where, there's a set listing, the ASIN, you have that listing, if there's something wrong with it, then Amazon knows and they'll either pull it down or limit it until it gets fixed or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or eBay, you can just list anything out there, and it's kind of like, would you really want to take the time to be listing all of that? I'm not sure. I don't do auto parts. I do sell an automotive on Amazon, but it's more like chemicals and nothing to do with actual parts for the cars.
Yeah. So Latravius McKay says, Tom, what glasses are you wearing?
My new 4 eyes. They are
tinted.
yellow tinted. They are blue light, whatever, blocking glasses, but also they do help my eyes because I guess I had bad eyesight for 26 years. I blame staring at a computer screen for the last 2 years very religiously. That's what I think
true.
it is.
That is true. So we have another question that says,
that's Andrew Clark again.
Yeah, he already asked that. What matters more for sales, feedback, or price? I would definitely say price. That's not even a question.
Yeah.
Feedback is by far the most overrated thing on eBay.
Yeah.
By far, there's no question about it. People get this misunderstanding in their head that feedback somehow equates to more sales, and maybe having one feedback versus 100,000 might make a slight difference, but it's really not. It's a tiny difference, and I wouldn't worry about feedback. Price is the number one biggest determining factor for a purchasing decision across all platforms. Think about the last time that you went to the store or bought something on Amazon or eBay. Price was probably a big reason as to why you bought that item. And if you compare the two, price is without a question way more important.
Yeah, definitely price. After that, I would say, shipping kind of goes into price. Free shipping is definitely going to be,
shipping
if there's
time
a $45 item and it's $45 free shipping, it's going to be better than $40, $5 shipping. That's just psychological, and both eBay and Amazon definitely weigh that in better, if you have free shipping. And also after that, it's going to be handling time and shipping time. Then after that, it's going to be the more minutia things.
The image, thumbnail, when you're scrolling through search and you see the first image, that hero image, that's going to be a big part of the reason
for
why.
eBay.
Just because there's a lot of people on their phone, and when you're on your phone, it's just kind of the psychology of it. You see that one image, and you might make the purchase right then and there based on the picture. And then I'd say something like title, description, your metrics, stuff like that. Feedback is way at the bottom.
So we got eBay Hot here. Welcome back. Says, lately I tried to pause my promoted listing campaigns, and I had a dramatic increase in my sales. I want to share that so that people can try it. Honestly, I've heard people say that time and time again every once in a while. I don't think it really is going to be a long-term sustainable thing. I've seen a lot of people say that they canceled their promoted listings based off the ad blocker scare of 2019 that I made a video about.
That went away
absolutely
quick,
hated on, and then and then people started commenting on it like a month later. Oh yeah, I promoted my listings again. Now I started making more sales.
I haven't heard anything about that since that whole thing happened.
Except for people saying that my sales died.
Yeah.
I don't think it, maybe one-off, a couple days in a row, you might get better sales. Who knows? I think it doesn't. I'm not here. I have nothing to gain by saying that. That's what I believe. I believe that if you promote your listings at a certain amount of percentage, that you're going to be making more sales. It's not like I'm working for eBay's back to get the 1% or whatever. That's my affiliate commission. No, that's what I believe. I don't think that there's any real sound evidence or science as to why you would stop promoting your listings and make more sales. It doesn't really make any sense to me. I can understand if it happens, yes, could be one-off, but I do believe that over time you'll realize that it might not be the best.
Yeah, so we got LaKenya Stone says, finally caught a live, finally great info, good to see you. Hopefully you come back to some more. We're trying to do these every Friday or Saturday.
Or Sunday.
Yeah, we try to do them on the weekends, but so far I feel like we've had a good amount of people coming out to them and enjoying this, so we're going to keep it up. So the next question comes in from...
I'm So Wealthy 19. Can you read that?
Yeah. How many listings should a VA list per day, and what should be the minimum profit margin on each item? So again, we talked about minimum profit margins about 5 minutes ago, so we're gonna not. We're not going to talk about that. But the VAs, it's really dependent on how many criteria you set for them. So if you have really rigorous, strict criteria, let's say, for example, that you only want the best items to be listed onto your store and you want them to be really well optimized, well, then you'd probably want to have a lower quota for your virtual assistants for the day or the week. And, something like 5 or 10 really good listings, if those are going to be listings that have high sale velocity, then that makes sense. But if you're just looking to pretty much throw anything up, then you can obviously have a higher expectation for the amount of quota that they put up per day. I'm more of a fan of quality over quantity, so I have lower number of threshold for my virtual assistants, but some people like to just say, all right, anything that's sold 3 times in the last 30 days, I'll list those items, and in that case, you could say 25, 30 for each virtual assistant, depending on how many hours you expect them to work. Again, guys, everybody thinks that if you have a virtual assistant, you have to be giving them full-time work, 40 hours per week. That's not the case either. We have seen this work out a lot of times for our students where they don't want to spend, have full-time employees and they don't have enough work for them full-time. So what they do is they hire them part-time, and they only work 15, 20 hours per week, but that saves you that 15 to 20 hours per week, and it helps scale your business. So I'm a big fan of that in the beginning stages for sure.
Yeah, and to add on to that point that Jason made, if you start pressuring your VAs into, this is where we've seen a lot of, nobody really ever talks about this, and it wouldn't make very much sense to make a YouTube video about it, but we do talk about it on lives a lot, is if you give your VAs, like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to get this, like, you need to do 10, 15 items per day, every single day, don't mess up. You're going to be putting a lot of pressure on these people, and they're going to be sitting there, and they're going to be more apt to want to keep their job and lie to you. Yeah. So we've seen this happen time and time again. The two biggest things I've ever seen when people say, oh, I'm not making any sales, we're listing all these items, we're not making sales. First off, one of the biggest things is like their repricing tool, their stock tool. Like SKU just isn't working and has all their items out of stock and they never paid attention to it or didn't realize. But more often it's, you go back and check what your VA is actually sourcing. And if you have the sourcing sheet that we provide inside of our eBay dropshipping course, then there is a section for how many times, how many sales in the last 30 days, and then also for the competitor that you stole it from putting their item listing there, their URL. So you could go back and click on it and then say, oh, so-and-so said it was 5 times in the last 30 days, but in reality, it only sold 1 or it didn't sell at all, and they're just trying to fudge their numbers so that they can keep their job. That's one of the biggest things I've seen. A lot of people just, giving their VAs full reign right off the bat. You're just hiring this random person from a third world country, half a world's away, and you've never talked to them before, and you just like, oh yeah, just here you go. You need to have some precautions, some just systems in place,
checks and balances,
to look over their work, to really check on their work until you know that you can trust them. Because then once you know you can trust them, then they're pretty much they're set. You're good, hopefully, and then just check in on them every once in a while.
Yeah.
So Kimberly Ransom says, I got warned last week, and then tonight I received a notice saying I'm restricted for 3 days. Williams-Sonoma turned me in both times. I would stay away from Pottery Barn and Williams-Sonoma. If you got warned last week and you didn't take down all your Williams-Sonoma items, I'm going to say that part of that's on you. You need to, unless you did take them down and somehow they hit you retroactively, which I don't think usually ever happens. eBay's definitely been a lot more strict recently on how many Vero violations it takes in order to get banned. Back in the day, like 2 years ago,
I used to be so bad.
You could get so many, and I think it took me 25 to get my first ever 3-day ban, and it happened when my VA listed the same handbag in 7 different colors on 7 different listings, and I got hit on every single one at once, and then that's how I got my first 3-day ban. But then after that, it's like, you get 1 or 2 more, you get a 7-day ban.
And then 30-day once you really stretch it.
Yeah, no, it's 10 days, isn't it? 10
no,
days,
it goes from 7 to 30. I remember.
Dude, there's definitely a 10.
I remember one time I was walking to Fenway Park to watch a baseball game, and I got the dreaded phone call for the Vero because the lady was like, yeah, you've had over 30 in the last month, so we're going to hit you with a 30-day listing suspension. So I was like, wow. That was the first time I had ever seen it. But yeah, that's one of those things you need to be proactive about it. Back in 2017, you could really get away with a lot, but eBay's starting to crack down on it a little bit more. And it's understandable, right? Because they don't want to get caught up in litigation lawsuits from Williams-Sonoma or Sony or Apple or any of these companies that have deep pockets and are willing to, sue people. So they don't want to get caught up in there as the marketplace. So the next question comes in from Andrew Clark, and I think he's a student of ours. Tip for everyone here. It's dust masks.
List dust masks.
What's a dust mask? Is that, for the coronavirus?
Yeah. As coronavirus masks, we are selling loads. Honestly, yeah, it's not the worst idea, but again, it's nothing sustainable. That's just going to be something to hop on, make a quick buck. And,
definitely opportunistic.
Yeah, and that's that. W Travis 42 says, does it work? I'm not sure what that's in regard to. Christian says, curious, was that a wholesaler, retail / obscure supplier, Tom? The one you researched for a few days. That was a retail obscure supplier. Oh God, it just jumped.
We got a lot of people on watching. We got 65 people and only 23 likes. So guys, go ahead and smash that like button.
Numbers just aren't adding up.
Those numbers aren't adding up. We appreciate everybody coming out on a Friday night, especially if you guys are on the East Coast. And keep going here.
Yeah, so W Travis 42 says, do you recommend to list some products at a loss to drive traffic to the store? I don't think that that's a good idea. Some people definitely do it. Some people definitely use like secondary accounts and buy items from their own accounts.
That's sketchy. I don't like
to
that.
Drive like, oh, this item sold 5 times right off the bat to try to drive some sales to it. It's really sketchy. I'm sure eBay almost has no real way of catching it because their infrastructure seems lacking, but I wouldn't do it. I mean, you can make money doing this legitimately. You can still make money doing this, I mean, as legitimately as selling Walmart onto eBay is, or anything like that. You know, move away from the big 3. Go find an obscure supplier. There's 400 suppliers, US-based suppliers on SKUGrid. Put in the effort. Put in the work. Just list items. Do things legitimately. Make a good listing. Stop cutting corners, and outsource when need to be. And you'll still be able to make money. It's most of the questions that we get asked come down to the fact that people just don't want to put in the actual work for it, and not everybody wants to, not everybody's going to, but
you need to remember this is a business. Yeah.
If you want to succeed at anything in life, you're going to have to put work into it.
That's so true. So LaKenya Stone says nothing is shipping until Chinese New Year is over.
New Year right now.
So I don't know if it's coronavirus, Chinese New Year. I don't even remember when Chinese New Year is. I think it could be now. They literally take the whole month off. I've never seen anything quite like it before. Hazim IA says Amazon or eBay drop shipping. We're talking mostly about eBay dropshipping, but we both do Amazon dropshipping as well. Tom you have about 10, 15 videos on Amazon dropshipping on your channel, right?
I found out, yes, no, 17, I believe.
We
Not
also,
very many, but the biggest channel video on the channel is Amazon dropshipping related. So
they are both very viable.
So Vinny, you skipped a few questions here. Vinny says, I tried AliExpress. Even the U.S. warehouse was hit and miss. I mean, again, we've never suggested it. So again, I don't know why so many people are talking about it. Maybe other people are talking about it, so they're gonna.
Let's get a gauge of how many of you guys out here. We got 66 people watching. How many of you guys are still doing or are doing AliExpress drop shipping?
Or how many people are doing Amazon onto eBay? I want to know Amazon onto eBay and AliExpress onto eBay.
If you're doing those, let us know in the comments. I really want to know. I kind of want to get a gauge of how extensive
I've never even really
it is.
attempted to do such a thing.
I've been out of the Amazon game for so long now. It's like I'm surprised that it's still so Amazon onto eBay. I'm very surprised that so many people seem to still be doing it. But then again, I don't know. I would like to see like an actual poll of how many people are doing it, because we see a lot of people in the Facebook groups, we see people in the comment section, but then again, it could be a small minority of people. I don't know.
So Fernanda says, do I need to open a company to start selling in eBay and Amazon? You don't need to. Amazon is definitely much more advantageous to do so, but you don't need to. You can start off as a sole proprietor or as an individual account, and eventually move up into a business. I would say sooner rather than later is always the best.
Yeah. So Vinny says, "What's up, guys? Great info as always. Thank you, Vinny." I think he's a course student
he's
too.
In the group coaching, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. So we got a ton of comments here. Let's keep going through these. Chinese New Year. That's why eBay those items aren't shipping. Okay. So Chinese New Year. Everybody's talking about Chinese New Year. Jameson Social says, "I need some." I don't even know what he's saying.
Sapphire virus this weekend. It's a brand of gin.
Yeah, I know. It's Bombay. Bombay. Yeah. I know.
So Christian says, all thanks for the exotic and delicacy meat market. I don't know what the hell is going on here. I'm debating on whether to get the eBay manual dropshipping course or wait till spring to get the wholesale dropshipping course. What do you guys suggest? I mean, it's really up to you here, Ronnie. Do you want to get started now, or do you want to get started when we have a course coming out that we haven't even started making yet? I
made the intro.
We made the intro video. I don't know when this course is going to come out. Hopefully, we have a goal set by the end of March. But if you want to get started now, it's still going to be a decently large difference. So like the retail dropshipping course is going to be completely different than the wholesale dropshipping course. The only overlap is going to be like creating your account and starting and setting up settings. But besides that, suppliers, software is going to be pretty much all different. Everything's going to be fairly just completely different. So it depends on what you want to get started with. I mean, there's people killing it with the retail dropshipping still, so it's up to you.
Yeah.
How do you sell different items for different profit margins with SKU Grid? That's a very good question. It's hit or miss. There's a way to do it. It's called the buy box, BBO, buy box ownership repricer on the eBay side. I've never gotten it to fully work, but there is a few updates that they have put into place to make it a lot easier. I haven't really looked into it too much yet, but in reality, the easiest way to probably go about doing it on eBay is to just go in there and manually change your prices. That's why I don't do that. I just try to list at a common, just decent profit margin. Make sure I'm tax exempt. Make sure I have all the advantages on my side, and then just hope that people aren't going to be too much of an ass and undercut me, basically.
Which does happen.
Which does happen, but
even by course students. Where are we at here?
Christian's talking about how his eyes are better than mine.
Has he got 20/20 vision?
He said that. Oh, we got 99 cents. We'll get to that at some point. Can I PM you? Hi, Tom. Besides eBay and Amazon, what other businesses are you doing now? I own a rental property. I got some stuff in the stock market. That's about it. Am I running any other businesses here?
I mean, our DSU stuff is content
creation, course sales,
affiliate marketing,
a little bit of affiliate marketing. Not really that much. I mean, if people think that we're making a lot of money off affiliate commission from any of these softwares, you think again.
Or YouTube ads.
Yeah,
they don't pay
YouTube
you much.
ads. YouTube's like not a lot of money. And besides that, we are looking in. I don't even want to say it. Never mind. We're looking into starting like a done-for-you based service, and we got one client on the what do I say?
On the horizon.
He's incubating now. But it's somebody that's we know who they are, and it's they trust us. It's not going to be a full-blown service, I would say, for a while, because the fact that we want to do it correctly and not ruin people's accounts or futures.
Yeah, we got a lot of projects running in the background, so. All right, so the next question is coming in from Alan Rahib or Alam Rahib?
No, Radwan.
Okay. Do you recommend drop shipping nutritional supplements and anti-aging cosmetics on eBay and Amazon? I would not, because that falls into the category, it's like gray area. And I've done a lot of selling of gray area products, whether it was tobacco pipes, CBD, stuff related to chemicals that have hazmat issues and batteries, stuff like that. So you really don't want to have to take on any extra issues if you don't have to. And supplements, they're not FDA regulated, and you can also, people are consuming these things, right? People are eating or consuming supplements, and these things could have adverse effects on people's health. And as somebody who's drop shipping those products, you're an arbitrator, you're facilitating the sale of them. So while the liability might be on the manufacturer, the brand owner who created the supplements, you're still selling those products, and you're still exposing yourself and your business to risk. And that's unnecessary risk, in my opinion. Now, granted, there's going to be more opportunities when you're selling gray area products like that. But at the same time, I don't think the risk, the risk to reward ratio there is a little off, and I stay away from stuff like that now. I've learned better.
Very, very, very true. I don't sell any of that stuff either. So I'm So Wealthy 19 says, other eBay sellers are stealing the main images for my items because of the clip art. I've had that happen as well on them. So, or should I start watermarking them and contacting sellers that steal them? Honestly, first off, you putting clip art on your images isn't even allowed on eBay, so you're technically breaking the rules. Not that eBay really cares, or I've never seen anybody take action or eBay take action against anybody doing so. Just letting you know, it is against the rules. I've done it myself, but is it really worth your time to attempt to do such a thing? It seems like a futile effort. They're most likely not going to change anything.
Yeah.
You trying to go to eBay to complain about it is going to get you nowhere because it's not allowed. If anything, it would probably put you in a worse standing with them. I mean, it's just there's battles that you have to choose in life, and that for me is just not one of them.
Yeah,
take that time that you would take to go complain to people about stealing your images and go find more items to make more images with. That's just my 2 cents.
So Saeed says, are there wholesalers who sell easy without barrier in requiring application? There's no wholesale supplier that I've ever worked with that did not require an application.
If they didn't, then they weren't a wholesaler.
And that's what I was going to say is if they didn't require any form of an application, then I would bet dollars to donuts, as the old saying goes, that that's not a real wholesale supplier. You're probably working with a retail supplier or somebody who's an intermediary, somebody who's a middleman, and you're really not getting wholesale pricing at that point. So, if you're looking for the easy way out, then probably go with retail dropshipping. If you're looking for something with a little higher barrier to entry, but you're going to get better profit margins and you're going to have a long-term relationship with that business, and you're going to be in compliance with eBay's dropshipping policy, then really consider wholesale dropshipping. You got to put in work sometimes, guys, and this is one of those things you got to put in the work. It's not hard to fill out a wholesale application. It's not hard to do these things, but you have to be willing to put in the work required,
So Jameson Social says, how are you guys liking Reno? Are you bored yet? And have you visited Tahoe? I've only been around Tahoe once, honestly, and Reno is it's quite the interesting city, I would say. It's got the best casinos in America, as they say.
It's a fun place. It's pretty cool.
It's cool. It's interesting. It's like one of those cities that I feel like most people say that they hate it, but they love to hate it or something like that. It's definitely one of those cities. Trey Buck says, does SKU have a Vero check in all caps? And I believe SKU Fetch has a Vero check. But I do not believe SKU Grid does not have a Vero check. SKU Grid has nothing to do with listing the item. SKU Grid is a URL comparison. Is literally all SKU Grid is on its most basic form. It takes 2 URLs that you say are the same. It doesn't even know they're the same. You're telling them it's the same, and then it goes boop 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 and just checks one URL. If it goes out of stock, then it makes it out of stock. That's all SKU Grid does, and it's basics. And that's what I try to explain in the new update in the course. That SKU Grid is legitimately just. It's not an intelligent program. It does what you tell it to do, and it can't think for you. Be like, oh, they said this was brown chair, but it's actually blue chair. No, it does. It has no clue. Literally no clue. You need to set it up properly.
So you wouldn't say SKU Grid has machine learning?
It has no machine learning. Right. The machine learning is built in right here.
Good to know.
Noah says, what happened to the hat, Jason? What hat?
Probably the bucket hat. I did have a cowboy hat. I got a whole host of hats
hashtag bring back the hat. We should bring back the hat.
I'll wear the hat if enough people say hashtag bring back the hat. I'll do it.
Art Campos says, what's up, guys? I'm late. How's it going? Thanks for showing up. We got a 99-cent what's it called? Super comment. He left a poop emoji. I don't know if that means that he doesn't like it. Thank you very much, Hazem.
I'm gonna go get a candy bar with that.
4 gumballs. Thank you. What's about this new update? You missed it. Sorry, Adam. Rewatch the beginning. It's about item specifics and the changes on eBay. Do you want to answer this one?
Yeah. So Rodwin says, do you pay eBay/Amazon to appear at the top of product search pages as...
Did this move?
I think it did. As sponsored? If so, how much do you usually pay to both for that?
He's asking if you do sponsored listings on eBay and Amazon.
Okay, I had a hard time understanding that because Tom was moving the monitor. So I love sponsored listings on eBay. I don't do as much sponsored listings or promoted listings on Amazon. It's just one of those things that tends to be when you have a private label brand and you completely own the buy box. It doesn't really make much sense, especially if you're rotating in the buy box. But eBay makes complete sense. I always run promoted listings on eBay. And anybody who tells you to stop doing it because of a Chrome extension interference or whatever,
or the coronavirus or anything.
I think that's a bunch of nonsense in all honesty.
I mean, it makes no sense that eBay would would not show your items as much if you're paying them more to show their items more, to show your items more. It makes no sense. Maybe there's the ad blocker or whatever, but I thought I read somewhere too that there was like an update on eBay where it got around the whole ad blocker, like blocking out eBay thing.
Yeah, I would imagine that they would figure that out because they would lose if that was they would
it has to be like a
out.
stay-at-home mom thing to get mad about. You get mad about the fact that there's a sponsored listing at the top of your eBay search.
That's so true. So Adam says my supplier took a month off vacation.
1 month vacation.
That's assuming that they took off Chinese New Year. It's a very long holiday in China. John Arducci says Amazon to eBay. So this is when we were asking about what you were doing for a business model. He's doing Amazon to eBay, AliExpress, Banggood,
I don't know what
and
eggs
eggs.
is.
That might be another Chinese
Is that a
marketplace. I would imagine that's probably another Chinese marketplace. We got Ali, a little with some other Chinese in one store. We got a lot of Chinese. Amazon to eBay. Wow. Not doing China or Amazon. Okay, that's Vinny.
Wayfair onto eBay,
Wayfair.
says Justin. You just gave away your supplier, bro. I wouldn't do that. It's
I think Wayfair is pretty well known.
I don't even think that's in the eBay course, though. I just didn't put it in there. Art Campbell says, I'm doing AliExpress dropshipping from U.S. warehouse to eBay. Okay, all right. I mean, if I was to do it, which I'm not going to, I would probably do that. But
yeah,
I mean, again,
definitely the safest.
It's just, I don't know. It's just nothing I want to really get into. It's just that it's not appealing to me. Monthea Trey says, if I do not have a business credit card, will it affect me getting tax exempt?
Mm-mm.
In no way, shape, or form will it affect you getting tax exempt. You need to have an EIN number, but it has nothing to do with a business credit card. When did I get my first business credit card? We ran our entire dropshipping businesses for probably
a year and a half, almost 2 years before.
Off of personal credit cards. You just need to make sure your CPA just does everything separately or takes out your personal expenses or whatever.
Yeah.
Business credit cards aren't the most important. It's definitely helpful to get, and I mean, I only use them now, but it's in the making, or it's a long time in the making. So we got what do we got? 6 minutes left here, everybody. We got 68 people watching right now, so please be sure to smash that like button one last time. We're going to get through all the questions right now. We're going to speed read. There's not that many left, actually, so we might not even have to speed read here.
Before we get into these two guys, I want to remind you, I just wanted to plug that free mini course for the wholesale dropshipping course as well. Again, I came out with that about a week and a half ago. It's still brand new.
Over like 400 or
There's a lot
plus?
of people who are showing a lot of interest in wholesale dropshipping, and I think that's going to be a big way that people are going in the future. A lot of people want to get more legitimate and have a long-term business dropshipping on eBay. So if you want to learn some of the basics, a top-level overview of what you need to know to get started with wholesale dropshipping, go ahead and check that link down in the description. It's free. All you need is an email to sign up. Okay, so let's go ahead and answer these last questions. We got a question from Bosco Henriquez, and he says, I see Amazon to eBay every day, and some are actually killing it. Most of them are from outside of the USA, and I really question how many of them are actually killing it, or if they're killing it in the short term, right? So maybe for a month before their account gets throttled and flagged, maybe their numbers are looking really impressive, but are they coming back into that Facebook group and telling you, yeah, my account got flagged and now all my sales are down? And do they come fully transparent as to why they got flagged and what's going on with their account? And I see this happen all the time. We have an 18,000 plus Facebook group and other Facebook groups. We see these interactions all the time, and I know for a fact that Amazon Prime is going to be the #1 culprit for getting your account flagged, and I really don't think there's any way around that.
So yeah, I mean, how long have they been doing it, and what are their profit margins? Again, I've been out of the even researching Amazon to eBay game for so long that I have no idea, honestly. So LaKenya Stone says, I have a few items I drop ship from AliExpress. I search only for U.S. warehouses, use Ali Radar, I've never heard of that, and vet them out before I use them. Never had an issue. Honestly, it seems like you've been putting in the effort to actually learn how to do it properly, or at least making sure that you're not just listing complete trash up onto your account. So I could see that you don't have issues. I'm not saying that it's going to be inherently 100% issues, but it's just something that me and Jason don't want to deal with, or Jason and I don't want to deal with.
David, okay, yeah, I'll answer this one. David says, I have been selling on Facebook. It's been going pretty well so far. So, interesting. Are you meaning Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah, there's definitely some courses out there on it.
If so, I definitely want to learn more about that. I have actually been talking about that for
the
last
Jason
year.
On Facebook.
Let me know. I'm definitely interested because I think there's some big opportunities selling on Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to leave it at that. You guys can go do your own research.
You go as far as say huge opportunities.
Huge opportunities. Huge.
So Radwan says, it seems like you both do dropshipping on Amazon more than on eBay, but most of your education/YouTubes are about dropshipping on eBay platform. Any reason for that? Honestly, I dropship probably more on eBay than on Amazon. I mean, there's just less interest in the Amazon altogether, but I definitely dropship equal, if not more, on eBay than on Amazon. Amazon's definitely more profits and everything like that, but it's just like the interest out there it's less people are interested in Amazon. They think it's more of a
perceived higher barrier to entry.
Yeah, higher barrier to entry.
Yeah.
A huge risk, and yes, there are risks, more risks I would say maybe on Amazon, but once you get your Amazon business up and running, it's a lot smoother sailing than on eBay.
It's true.
Most people just don't think that that's a thing. And if we're gonna get content out there to people and help people build their businesses, it might as well give them what they want, and it's eBay. And I do think eBay is the best place to start. I've always thought eBay is the best place to start. Amazon is no place for a beginner first day, first hour into e-commerce to set up their account and be like, okay, gonna list all these items now. It's really, it's not the place to do it. Start as eBay as your little training ground, your little playground, and then move up. And that's pretty much how we've always tried to pitch it. It's just, that's how it is. I sell equal amounts. I sell, if not more, monthly on eBay, but more profit on Amazon.
Yeah, so Adam's going off of that. He says drop shipping on eBay is more popular, and that is true. We have cited this statistic a couple of months ago when we were coming out with our Amazon drop shipping course, which is there's 6 times more sellers, active sellers on eBay than there are on Amazon. So more competition on eBay than there is on Amazon. And there's more sales on Amazon than there are on eBay.
3 times more
Three
sales?
times more
sales? 3 times more sellers, 6 times more sales?
No, it's 6 times more sales.
Okay, 3 times more sales.
Yeah, whatever the statistic is, Tom's confusing me.
It's a huge statistic.
It's a big difference, right? There's more competition on eBay and less sales. Less competition on Amazon and more sales, and that's just how it is, and that's the nature of these marketplaces. And it just seems as though Amazon is out competing eBay overall. And we're both making more money selling on Amazon than we are on eBay. But that's not to say that there's not opportunities selling on eBay. You always want to diversify your businesses. You always want to sell on as many platforms as possible, because one day you might get your Amazon account suspended, and then all you have is eBay or whatever else. And vice versa. So you always want to be diversifying, and that's just the way it is.
All right, so we're at the hour mark, and we did not speed through the last questions like we said we were going to. So let's speed through these questions. David says, by the way, speaking of SKU Grid, I would not use them. Horrible customer service. I mean, if you get the course, if you're inside of the course, those 14 videos, you shouldn't need customer service, honestly. It's a great software. Again, yes, the customer service might be lacking in a bit, or they might not know the answer right away, then they have to send it off to another support guy who takes like a day to answer. Yes, but if you set it up properly, you'll have almost 0 issues. Natasha Gray says, I'm not tax exempt. Can I still drop ship? You can still drop ship, but you want to be as competitive as possible, which means that you would want to, as soon as possible, actively be working on getting tax exempt. We weren't tax exempt when we first started. Quite frankly, nobody even talked about tax exemption when we first started.
Yeah.
And I figured it out on my own. I found out about tax exemption, but when the course I was in didn't even teach it. And, it's not a complete make or break. It's not a break, but it's definitely very advantageous.
Yeah.
Bob's World Entertainment Podcast Limited, that's a long one, says, hi all, how's it going? Saeb says, for example, Alibaba doesn't need application, just needs contract supplier. I mean, some wholesalers are not harder than isn't Alibaba not actually considered a wholesaler?
They're a directory. Yeah, it's a directory where you can get in touch with Chinese manufacturers and Chinese wholesalers. It's not really. I think he might be a little confused about that one.
Vinny says, bring back the hat. And you got one, bring back the hat.
Bring back the hat, the cowboy hat.
So Gary Wise says, is there any way to have a done-for-me dropshipping business where someone else runs it, but I'm financially involved? I don't have time, but I want to do this. Yeah, I mean, that's the done-for-you services that most people have. I'd very much caution who you're going with and definitely try to vet them out as best as possible. Like I did say, we are looking into starting it, but it's really it's nothing that we're offering to the public at the moment. Where are we? Emprendedor Extremo, there you go, says, do you have any experience listing products in Spanish?
We talked about that a while ago. Remember that?
Works very well.
I remember a quick story. Tom one time called me. This is before we were living together and stuff. We just started doing dropshipping. He goes, man, I have an opportunity, and listen, hear me out. He goes, I think because it seems as though there's a lot of the demographic on eBay just so happens that there's a lot of Hispanic, Latin American people buying products on eBay. I think that if we make our listings, titles, descriptions in Spanish that we're going to get more people to buy the products. And at the time I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense. I never tried it. It was one of those experiments that was in the background. We had this experiment trying to go on in the background, but we never made it happen. But I do think there is an opportunity to do your listings in Spanish and actually do pretty well with it.
We also upset our virtual assistant because his name was Carlos, and we asked him if he could speak Spanish, but he was from the Philippines. But that was at the time when we didn't really know how to get good virtual assistants from wherever in the world. If we were to go back and do it, I think we could do it pretty well. But again, it's how much time do we have in the day based off of what is our reward going to be out of it. I would say you should definitely test it out, because I've accidentally listed items in bulk back in the day that had Spanish titles, and they did sell very well.
High correlation.
So Vinny says the coaching was well worth the money. Plug it as long as they know the basics. There you go. Thank you, Vinny. Justin Rodriguez says, selling higher ticket items, should I be sniping my competitors or setting my profit margin freely? I mean, you're going to be sniping the items from your competitors, then you want to be in the ballpark. You don't have to be completely under them every single time, but at least be in the ballpark of profit margin, price-wise. That's all I have to say here.
So Juan Luis Gonzalez Garcia says, which suppliers do you guys recommend? We actually have a top 20 suppliers list in our course. If you're interested in our course, it's $200 off. As mentioned at the beginning of this video, go check that out in the description, and you will get access to all of those suppliers that we use. But definitely stop using Amazon Prime if that's your main supplier at the moment.
So Claudio Suarez says, can you do one section about taxes? We have the section about taxes in the course, but mainly it's, you want to be diligent, you want to do it on your own, and contact our CPA, because of the fact that we can't legally give you tax advice. We're not allowed to do so, and we'd be held very liable if I'm over there telling you this is exactly what you need to do when I'm not certified to be doing such things. So, there's a lot out there. It just takes some Google searching and or contacting the professionals inside of our eBay course. And we only provide our students with access to it because we don't want to have just hundreds and hundreds or thousands of people contacting this poor CPA firm every single day that finds it on a YouTube video, because the one video I've ever done on taxes is like the 4th biggest video that I have on the channel. There's like almost 20,000 views. So they definitely get overwhelmed. They're a smaller firm, and they said to keep it to only course students.
Yeah, people are serious about it and that kind of thing. So,
so John Arducci says, where does he say? I would agree to not start with Amazon and eBay, but a lot of people have accounts that they don't want to close down. I'm going on 10 months Amazon to eBay with no suspensions or warning. There you go. Yeah, John definitely has found his way around the system or whatever he's doing. It seems like he's very knowledgeable in it. Phoenix Horizon says, I made an affiliate sale from Dropshipping University, but I don't believe I ever received my affiliate commission. I sent an email to you guys about it, but no one responded. Just message us on Facebook, honestly. If it's just a one-off sale, then you might not have been put on the automatic payout, and at that point in time, we'll take care of it. We're not going to take your affiliate commission. We just paid somebody out $600 and something today.
So Supreme4 says, I've been dropshipping from AliExpress to eBay recently. Traditionally, I was using to Walmart, but most sells I get Walmart doesn't ship to their location. Do I just cancel orders and take that loss?
I don't know what that means.
I'm not really sure, but it doesn't sound like a good situation.
Why are you selling things to Walmart? I have no idea. Next question. Benny says, good customer service from SKUGrid for me. Honestly, I haven't had too big of an issue, but I could see where some people would get upset. Said, and you can sell everywhere with SKUGrid. I'm on 5 platforms with SKUGrid through WiseLister and all linked non-API on eBay. See, Benny has his
He's
shit
taking
together.
initiative.
Benny's good. I like what Benny's doing here.
So Weapon RK says, has anybody ever busted into the other marketplace, like say Europe? I haven't really looked into Amazon.ca or Mexico, Europe, and I know you can do the same with eBay as well. I actually have a brother who's one of the biggest international coin dealers on eBay, and he does a ton of sales internationally. I think his sales are like 40 or 50% internationally. So, if you have a niche store and you're doing something different than what Tom and I are doing, basically dropshipping general merchandise, then, that could be something that you could consider doing. But for what we're doing, it doesn't really make that much sense. I don't really need to send stuff to other countries when I have enough of a market share in the United States. It takes out more of the variables and more of the stress and potential reverse logistics like returns and exchanges and stuff like that.
You just have to think about, from our perspective, with our time being spread so thin, we don't have the time to necessarily go into all these other countries and learn their tax rules and start selling in there and then just teach everybody
VAT taxes, taxes and stuff, right?
We have multiple courses. We run multiple different accounts on multiple different platforms that we're running and everything. It's just like in all our services. I highly encourage, if that's what you want to do, to go out and venture into that. But I can't say that we are going to really ever focus on such a thing.
Yeah, experiments are good, guys. Whatever we've talked about a whole bunch of experiments, whether it's making your listings in Spanish, selling internationally, doing different things is always good. You always could find some great things that other sellers aren't doing by trying these experiments. And Tom and I are big advocates of
I can tell you that if you're following only what we talk about on YouTube, then there's at least 13.7 thousand other subscribers that have access to the same exact information as you. You need to realize that. What's on YouTube isn't always going to be the 100% best thing. Or if you have an idea, oh, Tom never talked about it on YouTube, it's because either I didn't do it or it's inside of the course or something like that. Go out of your own way if you think that that's a good idea, like listing in Spanish or listing in a different country or selling on a different platform like Facebook, like somebody talked about earlier. Like, those were all great ideas, and those are all things that we've thought about before, but either we don't have enough time or we haven't pursued them yet, where you could literally beat us to the punch on it. You could have your own YouTube channel talking about Facebook dropshipping in the next month. Who knows? So W. Travis says, I'm a new member. I'm deleting all of my Amazon Prime listings while I'm listening. eBay gave me 5,000 listings. Yeah, if you put up 5,000 Amazon Prime listings, that might be a little risky. I wouldn't do that at all.
That's bad news.
And then last question here, webinar cases. I mean, just sourcing items from retailers in Europe and shipping them to other European addresses. Yeah, I mean, that's like selling on, if you wanted to be an American, selling on eBay UK, because there's less eBay UK drop shippers. Yeah, I mean, I've heard of people doing it. I've just never gotten into that whole entire niche. So
that's it for the questions.
That is it for today. Thank you all very much for watching and showing up. I very much appreciate it, especially people on the East Coast where it is, it's 8 p.m. on a Friday night. It shows dedication. Thank you so much. We did, like Jason said, we just launched the Wholesale Dropshipping mini course over an hour long. It's 5 videos?
5 videos.
5 videos over an hour long, and it's going to give you a nice taste test, and you can also sign up for the future to be put on a wait list for the Wholesale Dropshipping course when it's put out. We also did just update the manual eBay dropshipping course with 20 new videos. There's 14 on SKUGrid, and you won't even have to talk to their customer service, because I can guarantee you these 14 videos it's going to be pretty hard to mess up. I tried my damnedest to break this down to the extreme minimals, and if you want to break off into other little fancy things that you can do on SKUGrid, then that's up to you, but you should at least be able to get your store up and running extremely quickly. Then there's 6 other miscellaneous videos on tax exemption, taxes, tracker bot, and other things like that. So I highly appreciate you all showing up. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say thank you guys again for coming out. Smash that like button one last time. We really appreciate everybody who took the time out on a Friday night to come out here. I hope we answered as many questions as possible. I know we went through those pretty quick at the end, but we do our best here. So if anybody's in the group coaching, we have a group coaching session tomorrow. We will see you there, students. So
the core student-based group coaching.
So hopefully we'll see some of you guys there. I know I saw you guys in the comments. So all right, guys, we're gonna take off and have a good night.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.